killing myself, that shit killing my neck.
In your life, you seem to have it all. You seem to have control, but deep within your soul, you're losing it. You never took the time, assume that you're to blame. You think that you're insane, but I know the breakdown. Everything is gonna shake now someday. I know the breakdown. You can find the reason that no one else is living this way. Yeah, living this way. I can't stand it when you feel like you're the only one that's right. Pull the blade right from my back, cut me open and lick the knife. Drive me crazy like you always do. I love the way you fucking hate me, I fucking hate you too. Now it's your turn to feel everything that I felt. Painkillers don't help when the pain that you're killing is yourself. I make you hate me for real, even though you should hate on yourself. I don't care, you take me at all, as long as you take me to hell. From my back, cut me open and lick the knife. Drive me crazy like you always do. I fucking love the way you hate me, girl, it's all for you. This is not a love song, this is I hate you for life. Something to make you cry too soon. You ain't gotta sing along, you ain't gotta sing along. The tears that's in your eyes speak the words that's in your mind. Who you think you hiding from? Cut me open, make me feel it. I want heartbreak, I don't want healing. I am so lost, don't wanna be found. Don't you lend your hand, just kick me to the ground. Turn my heart in two, that's what I want you to do. Nothing to lose but myself, and it's cool. I can't stand it when you feel like you're the only one that's right. Pull the blade right from my back, cut me open and lick the knife. Drive me crazy like you always do. I love the way you fucking hate me, I fucking hate you too. Now it's your turn to feel everything that...
Yo. What's up? I was jamming out, you know, getting ready here. Welcome, guys. All you guys, if you guys are watching this live, definitely welcome. We do this. I know I got a shit ton of new followers today, so I'm very, very, very freaking grateful for all the new followers. If you're a new follower, definitely welcome. We do this every Sunday. I call it the STOCKCAST. Usually, we will talk something like mental or emotional, or just something on topic, for the day. And then we'll go over technical analysis and then what to look for during the week this week. So that's what we do here every Sunday. Sometimes I do have guests. I've had Smash the Bid. Thank you for him coming on. Jay Trader. I've had some other guys from other rooms and things like that. So if you guys have recommendations on who should be on, definitely let me know. All right, guys. Yeah, I'll take any feedback or anything that you guys want. If you want to hear certain people on, Like I said, I do this every week. We're gonna have this was kind of like last minute plan. Well, not even planned. But we have Oscar here. Oscar's been killing it with the spy puts, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, man, just been trading that volatility, looking for that downside momentum, even though we had nothing but an up week last week. But just watching the price action, the drops are for me like the uptrends have been pretty aggressive, but or like have been pretty gradual intraday, and so the drops have been pretty violent when they do happen. So I've been more focused on my timing, trying to catch those, and obviously since they're faster, the volatility is going to get you some little bit better prices on your options. So that's just been my focus so far. But it's been going good, man. Haven't realized a loss in a while, and I know it's coming, but I'm just making sure I'm on top of my toes and keeping things in line. I probably wouldn't have switched over to options had you not talked about it as much or been as vocal about it online. That's for sure. Because I was all trading small caps all the time, and that was going good. But then you get killed on all these fees, and it just the consistency was there, but with all the fees and everything else that you have to deal with, having to deal with PDT and all those other things, options just seems like the more convenient way to go for um, really anybody and traders across the board. But yeah, it's been going good, man.
Cool, dude. Just for a little background, I met Oscar at the MIC meetup in Dallas, I believe. It was the first time we ever met.
Yeah,
And then we just kind of always stayed in touch. We never he's when I started New Age Wall Street, I was just like, hey, bro, like if you want to come hang out, there's no one in here, but if you want to come hang out and trade, like cool. And we just kind of stayed in touch, trading together. And
yeah.
now like we both started with small caps, right? So we both started with small caps. I did the options a little bit more quickly, and then now I see him all the time, and it's funny to give him crap about it. The other day he was cooking breakfast. He was cooking like eggs or pancakes while he was in a damn trade. I was like, "The hell are you doing, dude? Like you can't do that when you're a small." Cause he's like, "Oh no, I got my puts. I'm good, bro." So, dude, I was like, "Okay, cool." But it does like sometimes like you do get bored in the trade because it is a lot slower. But um,
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about that timing, honestly. It's what it comes down to, timing and direction.
so I think this would actually be pretty cool, dude. Because you're in the military, right? And then
No, I was in a cadet program in college. I was in an ROTC. I thought about going into military. That's why I joined the program. And I have most of my best friends are in the military. But yeah, no, I got on that path in college and thought about going towards it, and then I met a girl. Decided not to go down that path because I met a girl, and then I got into trading, and I got in my school with engineering, and I figured, maybe the uh, government sector isn't for me. Probably stick with the private sector, and I just haven't looked back at going to the military. But I enjoyed the structure in college and all that stuff. But yeah, no, just been. I'm still in school right now too, even. But yeah, no, it's just that's where I've been, and I started trading my the summer after my freshman year of college, and I'm in my senior year right now, and essentially what happened was is I pretty much started a small account, Robinhood, how everyone else kind of does it, and then kind of just through networking and trading. Obviously, like we met up at the MIC meetup, listening to podcasts. I just kind of took nuggets here and there, and uh, pieced my system through taking pieces from everyone else around, jumping between chat rooms, things like that. And I really was on small caps for the longest time because I felt like with the smaller account it made sense because those are lower price stocks. But ever since you've been really like more vocal about the options, it just makes more sense to for people with smaller accounts to go that route. And also, like even if you don't have a smaller account, there's still a lot of capital to be made. Like even more so with options, so you can put a lot less risk than you would have to with small caps. Like let's say, like I put a trade on in small caps for I took a negative position to go short 2,000 shares of an $11 stock. I've got like 22K on the line there, and then I'm like maybe looking for a 50-cent move, just so like you can make a grand, and then that happens, right? But there's a lot of risk in taking on, like putting 22K on the line, especially a negative position where you could theoretically infinitely lose money. And in options, you can just look for a lower price premium and put maybe like 1 or 2 grand on the line. And with the volatility in this market right now, you could probably make or maybe even like 3 grand and maybe buy like 10 contracts of a $3 option, and the volatility will push it a point, or maybe 2. And if you catch a piece of that move, if you're putting a lot less equity on the line, and you're still having the same kind of returns that you would. And you're not having to pay all these brokerage fees, and you're not having to deal with all this crazy manipulation. And not that it doesn't go on in large caps. I mean, arguably, this Fed manipulation that's been going on has been pretty wild, but yeah, it's just a lot less stressful. I just enjoy it a lot more. I sleep better at night. Don't have to hold positions overnight for big crazy swings. And yeah, it's pretty much short story of my story.
Yeah, dude. Like, I think so the cool thing about it though is I think once you're, relatively comfortable with actually trading small caps, penny stocks, or just any like inequities or at all, right? To learn the option part is just okay. Like that's it. Like you know what I mean? It's just adding just a little bit more to it, and you just apply your strategy or what have you, to it, and then it's easy. Like maybe you could talk about the transition from me trading small caps and penny stocks to actual options, because I hear a lot of people actually talking about like, well, it doesn't make sense, and what about the Greeks and things like that.
What about the what?
The Greeks.
Greeks,
yeah. So the gamma.
Oh, the Greeks. Yeah. Oh, like theta and the delta. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think to me, those names come from Wall Street, and Wall Street likes to make things sound more complicated than they are, so that they feel smarter and get to take your money. But once you actually sit down and just study it for a second, it's not that difficult of a concept to grasp, and it looks intimidating, like. Because I was intimidated by it too. Like I was like, oh, large caps, no. Algos, heck no. Institutions, no way. Like I'm not gonna trade that. I'd rather just trade small caps where there's a lot less institutions. And there's definitely algos and institutions in small caps. You just kind of convince yourself that they're not there. They're just not as they don't have as heavy of a presence. But yeah, no. The transition was. It took a while to make the jump, to have the confidence to say, okay, this is what I'm going to go and do. Like it definitely took a lot of looking around, seeing who's doing what and what's working for everyone. And you've been real transparent on your story, and that's been really motivational for me to just dip my toes into it, because I was super biased on small caps for the longest time and super hung up on saying, oh yeah, no, like small caps is the way to go. Like much less stressful. The if a bear market comes through, it's fine. But honestly, there's so many reasons why I think options are better. But I'm grateful for small caps, because having to deal with that manipulation on a daily basis and having to deal with that high risk, it really kind of prepared you for the volatility that options bring. And you kind of, not that it makes things easier, but emotionally you're kind of already in that mindset of seeing the volatility there. And so
you know how to risk manage a lot better.
Yeah, and risk management, things like that, like cutting a trade quick, because if a short squeeze is going to happen in a small cap like BPTH, that's stuff, things like that happen. Like like if things start squeezing, to get out. And like with options, like if you're coming into options learning small caps, I think you just have that much more of an edge psychologically, because if you can respect your risk in small caps, it's way. Not that it's easier to respect your risk in options, but you'll be much more comfortable with cutting your losses and letting your winners run too. So, for me, it's just the transition. Short story was, it was hard to dip my toes in at first, but once I was there, I just loved it. So.
Yeah, dude, I think it's really cool. Like and it's just adding to your playbook, right? So.
Yeah, it's just another tool in the toolbox. I think with small caps, like I was consistent, but it was big gains and small losses and small gains, and the big gains kind of they negated the losses. However, you have so many fees that also tag on to your gains, your locate fees, especially on the short side, and then so it just and it wasn't as consistent. Like, let's say you have maybe 3 red days in a week and 2 green days, and as long as if you're disciplined, you keep those losses small, you're good. And those 2 green days, if you had like bigger green days, you're gonna come out on top. But you're gonna have to go through a week, like 3 days of like 2 red days, or you're gonna have to go through 3 days of red days, and psychologically, it's draining. You're trading the same ticker, and you're just focused on it, and you're watching it for multiple days. And with options, it's just like, all right, now what's moving today? And for me, the gains on options, they're as equal as they were in small caps, but they're a lot more consistent. I'm finding a lot more consistency in options, because I'm able to trade less volatile markets, more volatile markets, and either way, if there's volatility, they're going to move the options a good amount, and you just got to find a premium an option that's liquid and something that you can get in and out of. And it's all about like selecting the right strikes and things like that. For me, so far, that's how I'm still very new at it. I'm not trying to talk like I'm a pro at it. I've only been doing it for a few months, and I mean, I've been trading for several years, but I've dipped into the options for a few months, and I'm just talking about my experience so far with it. It's been, I really haven't even looked at my small cap scanner ever since this bear market came up and I started trading these options.
For sure, bro. Like, I think one thing too is that, like, I noticed for the way that I manage risk on options is a lot easier because I could use less size, right? So I typically in an intraday trade on options, and this is like going totally off topic where I want to go today, but in options, I only use the max 5 contracts on intraday trade. So that means that's 500 shares, right? For $500, right? So I hit my home runs based on the volatility, not on the size that I have to have in the trade, like the skin I have in the trade, right? So that's another way so at the very most, right? So if I'm buying a contract at $3, and I'm buying 5 of them, so that's 3 times 5, so that's $1,500. At the very most, I lose $1,500, and I stand, if that, my risk to reward ratio is 3 to 1, then I'm making what, $4,500? So it just makes a lot more sense. Like, I can manage my risk a lot better by having that smaller size with the contracts, and then allowing the size of the volatility and the move allow it to go. Because even before all this, even before the drop in everything, the whole Corona thing, you could get Netflix for $10. And a move is the ATR. Usually on Netflix, you could get huge moves on Amazon if you're able to manage that risk. And there's other ones that with other setups too, like Tesla, $10, $15, $20 a day, which is absolutely great. And you don't have to have huge size to be able to hit those, as to where, like you were saying, you had to in small caps you have to use even margin, right, in order to be able to go ahead and get it enough to make it worth your time, right, worth your risk. And so that's another thing I want to point out. But what I was trying to get at was that with you, dude, like, because you're a student, like, and I thought you were in the military, and then so I kind of wanted to talk to this. I think everyone is fucking feeling it right now, dude. We've been at this for like 6 weeks now with the market being like this, and I'm not kidding, guys. Like, after 2 hours of like watching the my trades or whatever, I am fucking tired. Like,
no, it's definitely draining. Like, I've never experienced this trading. Like, trading's always been something where I come to the desk and I'm excited, I'm ready to trade, but ever since I've been watching this bear market, it's like, oh man, the weekend, like I've been staring at these screens, looking at all this movement, you get decision fatigue essentially, and it has been pretty exhausting lately. And I think there's a lot of traders feeling that right now too. But it's a good problem to have, and I'm inviting of the volatility, and I very much enjoy it. I don't like seeing people lose their accounts. Obviously, I don't like seeing people lose their retirement accounts. But from the trading standpoint, it's pretty much once you kind of got your feet in the ground and you've got some consistency, it's a very recession proof profession to get into. So for us, the volatility's really been working out, but it's also putting us to work for sure. And I definitely know what you're talking about with getting fatigued from these past few weeks. But I love it, man. I love it. You just got to take a day to reset and get back at it.
See, that's what I want to talk about is how to manage it. Because I'll tell you guys a little bit of a story. Like before, in a past life, I went to school for being an EMT and paramedic. I was a medic for a little bit in the town next to Albuquerque here, Bernalillo. I was a medic at the fire for town of Bernalillo. And one thing that we was always really preached, and like especially for a man, was seeing the deaths and things like that, like PTSD, like it's real, like it's really real, right? And so, and I didn't think, I didn't take, them up on the resources like counseling and therapy and things like that for whenever, bad things did happen, like or bad scenes would happen, and I'm talking about, like kids mutilated, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
and just horrible things, like we aren't the most here in my city, we aren't the most friendly bunch here. We're ranked top for violent crimes and things. So there's a lot. The reason why I finally quit. Oh, my mom's calling me. Sorry, Mom. I have to pause you. So the reason why I had I want to talk about that is because I didn't take anyone serious when it would happen, and eventually one day I went on a call and it was during shift change, and I was on the 48 hour that was getting off. And so the next shift was supposed to be coming on. We just basically rock, paper, scissors who went on that call, because then, either one of us could have done it. And so I went on this call, and this baby had SIDS, is what I was assuming. She was already blue. She was like 2 years old. She was blue in the face, just like cold to the touch, like dead, dude. Like,
Yeah.
She's gone. And that was around the time, so my son was probably around the same age, so it was really hard for me because like my son was like that. So so when that happened, so we can't pronounce people dead. We have to call a doctor. The doctor has to say, okay, like you don't have to do CPR, resuscitation or anything. And so during this time I took vitals, obviously no heartbeat, no nothing. So the doctor just said, pronounce dead, whatever. And we didn't work on the baby at all. Like we didn't do anything. And so then what happened was, so the parents were upset because, I had to tell them like, hey, your daughter's, passed. We're going to go ahead and take her down, so she could get identified, everything, and start going through the process of, being pronounced dead. And, what do they call it? Where they see the cause of death. And so,
the coroner's office.
Yeah, the coroner's office. So then from that time, the dad started beating on me. Like he hit me a couple times on the chest and pushed me, and he was upset, and like that I didn't do any CPR or anything on his daughter, right? And I kind of just walked out of the house, and then it haunts me, dude, to this day, dude, like because those parents will always have that memory of me saying, sorry, your daughter's dead, but I didn't even try to save her daughter. Like, and I wasn't going to bring her back. I knew she was dead, right? I wasn't going to bring her back, but I could have still acted like it and still done it just for the sake of the parents, right? And it eats me up to this day that, that those parents will always have that memory, like where they think that maybe their daughter could have been saved and I didn't do anything, you know what I mean? And so I say this story, guys. So I say this whole story, and the guys in my room get tired of all the stories. I have some pretty funny ones too that we tell. But so a reason why I say that is like you have to take advantage of the resources like as they come. You have them, and not till you're absolutely emotionally and mentally exhausted. Because then you're going to start to resent like trading, like especially if you really love it right now, like you're getting consistent, you're making money and things like that. That's, the golden hour for you, right? But then eventually you're going to get burnt out and you realize you're doing it for the wrong reasons and, all those things. And I want to talk about that today about, finding a trading life balance to where it's okay to take time off. Like there's so many gurus or whoever that tells you, oh, you need to be studying charts 24/7, out of the day, and
Outwork your competition.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like there's people with bigger counts than you and this and that. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. If you were to work on your mental capacity and your emotional capacity in some type of way more than what actually reading a chart, I say this all the time. I could teach a monkey to press a button on an ascending triangle. It's fucking easy, right?
Yeah.
So everyone that's watching this, everyone that will watch this, I could guarantee you that you probably know how to trade. You know how to extract money from the market, right? Just doing it consistently. What prohibits you from doing it consistently is the emotional and the mental side of it. And so you would be better invested in your trading and your overall health and life if you were actually taking breaks. So and there's times I come in the room and I'm like, hey, I'm not feeling it, guys. Like, I'll cover my trades if I have swings, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna close them, but I'm not gonna take any new positions. Don't feel stupid and don't feel like you're a bitch or a pussy, and don't let no one talk down to you about that stuff. Because you're not at your desk, you're working or you're studying or things like that. As long as you're doing, you're doing your journal, you're doing your, the things that you have to do, great. But it's okay to take time off, and I actually encourage it. And especially with the way things are right now, dude, you see OGs on Twitter, and I'm not gonna go out and name names, but you see OGs on Twitter struggling, like, and where they're saying that they're taking days off and stuff. So if you're seeing these guys that have this much experience and have all the tools, and some of them have almost unlimited capital, right? If they're taking breaks and then they're saying like, well, I don't know, like, I'm just gonna go ahead and step away a little bit, right? Why would you not do the same thing? So I just want to tell you guys, like, because I felt it, like, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this actually this weekend was because I was honestly grateful we had Friday off, dude. I was honestly.
Oh yeah, so was I, man.
I was honestly grateful that we had Friday off, man, and that it was nice that not having to work. Obviously I woke up, I still came in and I studied, but to not have to sit here and actually analyze. So there's a study that I read, and it's where chess champions actually lose 20 pounds during a tournament. And they're not doing anything strenuous, guys. They're not over there powerlifting 500, 600, 700 pounds. They're sitting there moving chess pieces across the board over a period of 4 or 5 days, right? So, and the reason why is that because that mental energy that you're using, it burns calories. Like, if you were not to, like, actually feed yourself, right, and you're doing this, you would lose a lot of weight because of the mental exertion that you're actually putting on yourself. It takes a lot. Like, and I don't think, and, especially the newbies, I don't think you give yourself enough credit to the knowledge that you do have. It, even if you're struggling, you have a lot of knowledge based, you got to step back and look at how far you've actually come in this, because sometimes I step back when people are asking me questions and I was like, holy shit, like I could explain this, ABZ or ABC, excuse me, and the reason behind it, and then how to go ahead and combat it, and this is the reason behind it, you know what I mean? And I didn't know that before. I didn't know that 6 years ago or whatever it was, but now I could actually put it into someone so they're able to implement it. And I don't think a lot of people, especially like I said, new people, like give themselves enough credit to be like, I actually do know a lot, and I actually do put a lot into this. And it's kind of almost that imposter syndrome where you say like, I'm not good enough, and I should, I don't need to take a break. It's bullshit. Like, even all the other stuff like you see on Instagram and stuff like hustle harder and like all these motivational things, I'm all for it, guys. I could go 2 weeks without sleeping and just fucking hammer shit out if I really wanted to. But at the end of those 2 weeks, I'm going to be asleep for 48 hours straight, right? So why would I not rest for, a couple hours a night, enjoy my life, and actually make it better to where the time that I'm taking off, consistently is going to be smaller than me being knocked out for 48 hours because my body just quit on me. And I'm sure you guys have been there. If you do if you're an athlete, in some type of way where, you're on a diet and, I don't know if any of you guys had to cut weight, like for wrestling and stuff, that shit sucks. Like, your body will give out on you if you push it, too far, and your body will say, that's enough. We're going to go ahead and, take a break. And then it's not your choice, right? When it is your choice and you could take a break for that hour or two, at the, a night or every other night, 3 days, or, whenever you need it, just listen to your body and be 100% when you're sitting at your desk instead of being 50% over 10 days. You could be, that 100% over, a short amount of time. But I just want to touch that on that, guys, for everyone that's actually watching on the replay, everyone watching live. We'll definitely welcome everyone, guys. I definitely appreciate you guys being here. But don't be scared to take breaks, guys. I think it's very understated, especially right now in with the conditions that we have. It's okay to take days off. If you make one trade, it's okay. It's okay if you only took one trade. If you only made, like, it's hard for me seeing peers making, 5 figures a day, and then I made 1,000. Like, what I mean? But I would rather make that 1,000.
The worst thing you could do is put a time limit on yourself and compare yourself to someone else's situation and journey, because you never know. Like, that person must have a really clear head, and I truly believe the higher EQ you are, the higher your emotional quotient is, the better off you're going to be in trading. Because you're right, you can teach a monkey support and resistance lines and teaching them push buttons, and as long as you have a high emotional quotient, it'll solve a lot of your problems. Most of your problems are psychological, and that's the biggest problems for traders too. Especially these days with this quarantine and staying inside, staring at your wall, pacing back and forth on the weekends, and I'm the same way too, man. Like, I've got a lot going on in my life, and I've taken a step back and said, all right, like, I'm not gonna push the gas too hard. I'm gonna watch the screens, and if there's obvious opportunity there, I'm gonna seize it. But I'm not gonna force anything. I'm not gonna try to speculate anything. I'm just gonna just go for that obvious opportunity, and that's just blaring at me because emotionally I've got too much going on in my life right now to be pushing buttons all day and making decisions and putting money on the line like that. So just really just looking for those key areas and watching that price action and reacting honestly. And you're totally right. Like, if you've going through things in life, and there's been multiple times in my trading journey where I'm dealing with depression, and it's like, okay, maybe today's not the best day to trade, and you're 100% right about that, man. I'm a big believer in you got to take care of your emotional state before you can start putting physical capital at risk. It's much more safer. You're going to be much more better off trader if you're coming at the market with a clear head. You're going to have that much more of an advantage over the person you're competing against. And the message isn't to not work hard. It's just to know when to let off the gas and know when to reload.
Exactly.
Because that's going to do more for your trading than anything.
Exactly. And everyone defines a break differently. Like, you don't have to actually just be a couch potato, just. But as soon as I started, so I read something where like at the last UFC fight or something, Conor McGregor read that LeBron James spends $2 million a year just on his body. So that means like nutrition, red light therapy, cryotherapy, what's the people that pop your neck and all that?
Chiropractors.
Physical therapist, everything. $2 million a year, guys. Like, if you could even think of that, like. But the thing is that he knows that he wants to be in the game for as long as possible, right? So he's probably not even thinking about retiring yet, but he knows that he has to take care of his body right now to get that longevity out of himself. So then Conor McGregor started doing the same thing, right? So he had admitted that his diet wasn't always 100%. Like, he just naturally, was that, weight. And for him, especially like at 170, that's more natural for him, where, he had to actually put on weight and then cut weight. So, like it or not, guys, and I've seen someone say this before, there is no D League or C League, B League fucking stock market, dude. You're thrown in with fucking professionals. You're a professional trader if you're trading in this market, right? So, like, if you're a professional and you're in here, you're trading, why not act like it and actually take care of your body, your mental, like a professional, and
exactly.
in other sports and other high level places that people perform and things like that. So And then that's what I'm talking about. You know, I've done cryotherapy. I'm old school. I'd rather jump in a bucket of ice water. Every morning I take the last 2 minutes of my shower. I turn it all the way.
I do that too.
All the way cold, bro. Like, and it feels so good. Like, it sucks at the time when it's happening, but when you get out and you feel the blood just rush back to your skin, it feels so good, and it wakes you up, and you're just good to go. And it's just a discipline thing too, where your body is telling you to run and to not do that. And the same thing as when you're running a trade, you know, your body is telling you, you know, this isn't right, you know, go ahead and get out of your trade, but you're trying to hold for that max profit. You're able to say, you know, fuck you, the body, like, I'm the one fucking in charge, and I'm telling you what to do. You know what I mean? So it's always that. So if you get anything like this, if you're doing this right, you're in a professional, I don't want to say sport, but you're in a professional industry, and you need to actually act like it and treat your body like it, and so then you have the longevity to go ahead and actually stay in the game. So I'll end on that, unless Oscar, because the reason why I was asking you, bro, is because it has to be harder being a student, dude. There's especially being right now, like with the whole corona.
It's actually right now with the coronavirus, it's actually gotten easier because I don't have to physically be in class. I could stay at my desk and I can have Zoom. Like me, I've got a bunch of monitors, right? And so I can put on my Zoom class on one screen, and then I could watch everything else on my other 3 screens, and or I could just pull out my laptop and use my laptop as my school thing, and I could listen to my professor. It's recorded. I can go back and watch it. So with coronavirus, it's made things easier to be involved with the market as far as school goes. But when school is in session, and dude, it's so difficult. The hardest thing is turning off the laptop and closing out the windows and focusing on school and going to class and not pulling up your charting software, whatever it is, in class. And it's definitely hard to juggle both. And then if you got, like, let's say you're in a relationship, you got that going too. Like for me, I was in a relationship most of college, and thus far, and you've got, your attention is very divided, so and your mental capital is very limited, so it is difficult to do, but it's not impossible. There's definitely people that have done it, and you have to really enjoy it if you got something else, other things going on, as well as trying to get your trading going. You definitely have to have that passion for it, because the things will take priority over trading very quickly in your life if trading is not your main focus. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it. It's and what it is. It's I salute college traders when I run into them. There's some at my school, but not too many. And if they are trading, they're not as serious about it as I am, or that I feel, at least. They're not doing it on a semi full-time basis or full-time basis. They're just kind of dabbling, and I was there too, you know, like I started just dabbling, and then I got deeper and deeper and deeper into it, because I enjoyed it and I invested a lot of my time into it. And I even took a semester off of school to put more time into it, because like trading was going really well, and school was just kind of not going terrible, but it wasn't going as amazing as trading was. And I was like, you know, like, let me just take some time off for myself, get my emotional quotient up, and let me lower my responsibilities, put more time towards this. And I understand not everyone can afford to do that. Not everyone has that luxury. But it definitely takes work, but it also is extremely important to know when to pull back from that. Because if you're a college student and you're putting all of your time into trading, like I'm an engineering student and a college student, not that, like, I'm not saying that engineering is the hardest thing out there, but it ain't easy. And so if you're focusing completely on your trading and you're ignoring your engineering, like, you're going to fall back very quickly. And it's happened to me before, for sure. And it's a struggle, man, but it's what I live for. I love it. I live every single day to come into my screens and turning them on. So you definitely have to have that passion for it, and have to go about it in a responsible manner. Like, don't don't be irresponsible with your capital, and don't be irresponsible with your academics. And not that to say that I haven't been irresponsible, but it's really it's really damage control if you're going too deep into one or the other.
Yeah, so that's why like I wanted to call it balance because I used to be the same way, guys. Like especially when I was trying to get the room off the ground, I made myself sick. Like I would just stay up and
Yeah.
I mean I had to teach myself to how to do Photoshop. I had to teach myself how to use Premiere. I had to teach myself everything. Like I did everything. So, um, but it's not right. It's okay to take breaks, and then taking breaks allows you to be consistent. That's like your stop loss, right? So it's your emotional stop loss, I guess you would say. Um, but we'll go ahead and start looking at some tickers, guys. We'll do some analysis for the week. So I know you guys are pretty pumped to get into it. So right here on the right, I have the S&P futures, the ES. So we had the open where it fucking took off crazy. I was actually talking to Oscar. I was in the truck when they opened. I looked real quick because I was excited to see which way they were gonna go. And then we had this huge dip, and then you could kind of see where if I zoom out here, there's definitely resistance here at this 275 area. So we had it right here, also right here, and then you can see where there's support here a little bit lower in this 27. I call it 273 because I just take off. I move the decimal point, guys. If you guys want to sue me, you kiss my ass. So that's gonna be on it, and then if you come over and you look on the SPY, you could already see where it's starting to print lower. So this is what I want to point out. So you can see 276 right here. This is what I want to point out. If you go bigger, more bigger. All right. So this is I love to use volume profile when I'm looking at swings. So you can see the bottom of the volume profile is set here at 273.43. So that's where I would look for a bounce tomorrow. So if we come and we come down, it would be if you're wanting to go ahead and get calls or but get long on something in the market, around 273 is where I would look to go ahead and see whether it would hold up, and then for a bounce to continue on up. So obviously you want to have a plan for both ways, right? So if you see these here, these are auto plotted Fibonacci lines. So these are what we use in my room. They're very, very freaking convenient. So this is the very top of the market, 339.38. RIP to the guy that bought at 339.37, and and so it auto plots, right? So we came up to the 50% line, which is hard. High area of interest. Everyone was looking around in this area, right? The last 2 days, Wednesday, Thursday. But then we have the 61.80 right here at in this area, and the crazy thing about it, right, is that so the volume profile shows volume by price. So it's how much volume is actually traded in that area according to price. So if I zoom out further than this, say I go like to this chart, right? So the 290, you could see all this and all in this area, all this trading that's been done, all this business that's been done in this area. It's a high level of interest then in that area, right? So then if we go back, to where we were, or back to where we were, actually let's go smaller. So then you could see that the 6180 is also the high point in this volume profile. So that's going to be my level of interest next. If we come back and we pull back to this 273 and we hold this 273 to go up, I'll go ahead and look to see if I could get some calls to go up to 290. So 290 area, then test that area and then come back down. That would be freaking amazing. So that would be a pretty awesome trade. And I have puts right now. So I have puts that are probably going to expire no good. But I got my ass handed to me the other day. Someone gave me a tongue lashing about leaving that much on the table because I'm down 10,000 on them right now. So, but I'm okay with it because I know I'm still making money on the long side. I'm not buying puts on everything. I'm still making money on the long side intraday. I'm paying for that trade with the long side, right? And it's okay. So, and then once it turns around, then I could go ahead and add, and it comes back down. I could add to it or what have you. So those aren't till like July or June expiration anyway, so I'm not too mad about it. So that's for this week. That's what I'm going to look for tomorrow, guys. So a bounce around the 273 area would be absolutely awesome, and then continue up to 290 or so based on this Fibonacci line, and then also the volume profile. So I don't know if you guys know how to use volume profile. but price is always attracted to places of high volume, and so it'll always want to move to those places. So right now we're kind of like in this no man's land. If you see here this low volume area, right? It's gonna want to either come down here to this area, so the 276 where it's higher, where we were talking about, and then it's either gonna break down and come back down here to 250, 245 or so, or we're gonna get that bounce here in this high node area back up to the 290 where it did a lot of business before. So those are your areas of interest to look for this week as far as overall market. So and you can see the futures are coming down, so we're probably gonna get that. So cool. If you guys have questions, let me know your questions in the chat. The thing is a little bit delayed, so give me I apologize. Someone had asked about the Greeks on options. A Jamal, you had asked about the Greek stuff. If you want to go over those real quick, we could go over those. I didn't quite get a watch list going for this week, guys. I've been a little bit busy, and to Oscar's point, it's been over a chick, so I need to tighten that shit up. So,
Heck yeah, man.
so I apologize as far as a watch list goes. One thing I did want to point out is my Tesla trade for this week, and part of it is because I'm going to cut this out into an actual YouTube video. So I'm gonna go over my Tesla trade here because I made 16,000 on it this last week on a swing, and I'm gonna use my actual indicators. So
Was this on the long side?
yeah, so I got it long right here. So if you look in the past, we're gonna zoom all the way out a little bit further here, guys. So around we need further. So 500 has always been an area of interest here. Well, not always, but it was an area of interest on the way up. So you see right here, oops, go down right here. So 500, where it had resistance here in this area. We'll go closer. So, and I remember this because I traded it perfect because it actually went to 520, back to 500, and then back up, and then it went back up. So right here. So it was a pretty good resistance there in that area. Support a couple days later, a week later, but that's where I actually got my position in this area is when it popped back up and it came back and it held 500. That's where I loaded up the last time. So and I had this right up into the 700s. Made 104,000 over two swing trades on it. So I'm looking this way because my monitor for the YouTube and stuff is on this screen. So if I'm looking away from you guys, I apologize. I just want to make sure I'm not missing your questions or anything. So with that being said, right, going back to here when I was looking at the 500, market was really strong. Market was really doing really well, and then we had the Tesla was actually following along pretty good too. And so you see right here, it popped up almost the same way, and then it came back and it held 500. So you could see right here where it's just hard support here, and it did dip down on like one down day that we had on the SPY, which I figured was normal. So the thing is that I liked that it actually did break down and it reclaimed and showed that strength. So what I did is I came in here. I came in here, and then this is I need a little bit further. So so there's that dip down. And then once it came up and it showed that it was going to go ahead and stay above 500, I was like, okay, cool. Like we're going to go ahead and we're doing pretty good. So then on this day right here is when so I have a new toy that I've been playing with here in the room, guys. And this is Flo Algo. I call her Tiffany. She's a little ratchet, but she makes me money, so we put her to work. So if you guys don't know what Flow Algo is, it measures unusual option sweeps, block trades, and black. I don't want to say black market, is it? Dark pools. Dark pool trades. So this is This is trading on steroids and cheating almost. So it's a very nice tool, guys. I definitely recommend it. It's definitely worth it, especially if you're playing like bigger caps or options. This shows a lot of the action here on that. There's usually not too much that shows on the smaller caps, the penny stocks and things like that. So right now, like a lot of UAL, AAL, United Airlines and stuff, those ones are actually hot. Carnival, Cruise Lines, Royal Caribbean. But on that day, you could see here on the 17th, on the 17th, or the 9th, excuse me. Yeah, the 17th here. So you could see that all these 600 calls, and then there's some the day before. So the thing that sucks about this is that it doesn't let me recall like days in the past. So this is only showing you from Thursday. These are the calls that went through on Thursday. So you see 600, 600, 600, like, over and over again. Like someone is just relentlessly buying here, like, and they weren't afraid to put on that size on there. The day before it was 560. So he's just like, I kept, and this you could go and watch like a she won't talk
Voice
right
alerts
now.
on.
Oh, see, she talks. So she talks and she tells me like when they're coming through, and so whenever, like I was kept on hearing, Tesla 560, and so I knew that someone was making a pretty big bet for it to go to 560 from that 500. So when that happened, especially on this dip right here, so this is where I started to get that position. So once we had the dip red right here, we had the dip red with the market went red, and then it reclaimed, and you could just see this sideways action all freaking day, guys. This is what we call compression on the room. So this is just energy that's being built up between the buyers and sellers that needs to get released. So it'll go ahead and get moved to a direction, and you're hoping most of the time it's in a long direction. Oh, look at the features are coming down. I saw this, right? So we had this where it was just ranging all day. Then about 2:45 market time is when I actually got those calls after hearing all day of someone just buying 560 puts all day, and these are actually it was the day before. No, it was right here. Yeah, it was right here, and then so I bought it on the dip here, and then the next day, then we had this little dip here in the pre-market, and I was like, oh, are you freaking kidding? And so, but it started running up really strong. My profit target was 575, so I just wanted to get 575 on it, where the resistance was, and then so I took it out. So I actually took half my contracts there, and I was trying to be patient, like I wanted it to dip so I could add, but it never really came, and then we had this pullback, and it kind of scared me out. And I don't know if it was you or who told me in after hours that it did get to 600, or close to 600, but I was fucking pissed. Like,
there's nothing more tilting than wanting to add on a pullback on an option and it never just pulling back.
Dude,
it's a good problem to have.
I was like, man, they were buying 600 all day. I was ready for it. Like, I was trying to be as patient as possible, and I was like, you know what? I'll just take my money and run. And I'm acting like 16,000 isn't enough. And but I just wanted to go over my trade. And because I've been looking at swinging the options a lot more, because that's where the big money's at. That if you could get a overnight swing like that, where you have a nice gap or nice rip in the morning or what have you, it's absolutely nice. So especially when it that move's not expected, and like I said, when you have cheat tools like flow algo and you're just looking for these breadcrumbs, right? So you're making a holistic macro picture of all these things. So someone's relentlessly buying 560, 600, and then the pattern is right. So this is my pattern right here, this compression pattern with the counter dots. This is me all day. I'll take this any day of the week. And then I had the support at 500 that I was looking at. I mean, it was a no-brainer for me, and it was a super stress-free trade, like made a lot of money on. So but just wanted to go over kind of thought process of swing trading, kind of with the volatility that's going on right now. So I'm sure some of you guys, I've been trying on Twitter, guys, like as I'm taking trades and as I'm seeing things, to make it a thread, so then you could follow through and you could look at the chart and my thought process as I was adding and taking profit and things like that.
That's been super helpful for me, I'll say, because I watched your Zoom trade, that swing you had on that, and that was pretty interesting how you held through some of those moves. But like for me, I'm a big time scalper, coming from small caps, and you just want to take your money and run. And it's kind of what I've been doing with options too, just intraday, been scalping. But I have noticed that a lot of the money's made on on those swings, and you could put smaller risk on options and get those swings. And I remember I bought 500 puts on Tesla at whenever it was trading in the 965, 966,
Oh yeah, I
and
remember that.
it dropped, and I immediately like just took my profit and ran. And then whenever I came back, whenever it finally got down to that 500 target, because I bought these like 2 months out, I revisited that. It only took like less than a month to get there, and I revisited that trade and that strike. And had I stayed in that trade, I think I only put like $5,000 of risk onto it, and it ended up running. And the profit potential was essentially like 30 grand on that trade. And yeah, man, I've been following your swings because you're a beast at it, my guy.
So that's what I'm trying to add. So I'm trying to add those swings because that's where the money is, and it's cool because the cool thing about options too is that so in penny stocks and small caps, I don't know if you guys know how to strategy, like how to box. So you need two different accounts in order to box, but with options you don't. You could just pick a different strike and you could essentially do the same thing. So I could be long in these swing trades, but then if it's a dip, I could take an intraday put, and I'm paying for my trade holistically. Holistically, you know what I mean? So it doesn't even matter if the swing works or not. I'm still making money and I'm paying for that trade. And so it's like, and that, for an example, like this last week too, I took Bank of America. So this was really nice too here at 21. So we had the support here at this gap up, so this gap from here, and then we had support here at 21, a little bit below. And so I started looking at it, and I actually went full on Ricky Analog. I read the whole 10Q, and I was like, man, that's all I really need. Richard, what up, bro? Yeah, I'll put up the replay and everything, you guys. I'll always have a replay, and then I also put it up. I have you can listen to it on Apple Music too. So if you don't, you don't want to watch, you're just driving in your car, you just want to, hear me talk. I have it on Apple Music. I have on Spotify as a podcast. You guys could listen on there too. So that's usually uploaded by Monday morning, dude. It takes me a little time to do it. So with that being said, so I read the 10Qs and the 10Ks up for the Bank of America, and they're front running the whole SBA program. So they're Wells Fargo, actually they're limited on how many loans they're able to get because of the whole scam thing that they did. So Bank of America is going to be the one that makes the most money off of these SBA loans and things. And then on top of that, like Warren Buffett owns, I don't know how much of them, how many million shares. So I'm like, if this is good enough for Warren Buffett, like, this is a good, dip buy here for me. Like I'm feeling pretty good about this, for $5. Like, you know what I mean? They have earnings on Wednesday. And so what I was looking at on the long term was this gap right here, and then the Fibonacci line that I had. So here at on this dip and support that where we had where it held in this area, then I went ahead and grabbed those calls. I grabbed 24 calls, and then I held them till 25. I sold them all at 25, and then I'm holding them into earnings next week, which is Wednesday, and I'm hoping for at least good move up. Then, but the thing is that I paid for this trade. So this I bought. Oh man, I think I'm gonna try to remember. I think they were 60 cents or something like that. I bought 50 contracts, and so I made almost 6,000 on it. So, which was a really stress-free trade. Like there's never really any trouble in this at all. And there was also some flow, some bull flow in it where people were buying calls in it too after earnings as well. So I was like, cool. I feel pretty confident following them. And then so then if it goes into earnings here, this one, guys, I might actually exercise the options. I'll have to actually call Chris or Chad and see how I exercise them, and just keep the equity as in my portfolio. So but yeah, I mean, I made $5 on a $20 stock, so I made 20% on it, and that's, so like I said, I made $6,000, right? And then the contracts that I just bought, I bought 30 calls, which I'm kicking myself in the butt a little bit for. I think it's a little bit too far out the money, but I bought them super cheap for like 5 cents each. So I spent like $500. So I already paid for that trade. Like that trade could go to hell if, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Who cares? I'm still going to be up $5,500 holistically on Bank of America. So, and that's just the way to look at it. So it's nice to have your trades already paid for when you're able to, just roll them over into the next one. You keep rolling them over. So cool.
Yeah, man. And I just want to say, like, it's important, like, not to, for people that are just starting their options journey, like me, like I've only been in it for a few months, and obviously I've been trading other things for a while, but me getting into options, that's definitely expanding my playbook 100%. And when you're expanding your playbook, it's important to don't be too hard on yourself. If, like, let's say you plan to miss a move, or you don't catch as much of a piece as someone else. Like Cruz has put a lot of work into his system and his swing trading system, and
I'm still learning.
For me, like, I'm still learning on my swing trades. Like, I essentially top tick Tesla, but I couldn't hold for shit because I'm just not there with my with my strategy and how it's going. So where I want to be, that's why I'm here, learning from guys like Cruz who are killing it on the swings. But even if you catch a piece of it and walk away, like, that's a win, man. Like, don't hate on yourself. And like, I think Mike Cat said his best is we're always gonna kind of be pissed as traders. If you make money, you're pissed you don't make enough, and if you lose money, you're kind of pissed that you lost. And as traders, you're kind of like never satisfied. But it's important to not let that harp on your mental capital too much. I mean, it's okay to want to improve and get better, but just don't be too hard on yourself and don't compare yourself to others and where they're at, because everybody's different, and the last thing you want to do is whenever you got money, thinking about other people's money, and it starts messing with your head and your whole thesis and everything. So
to that point, like, real quick, I still make mistakes too. So and I'm still learning, how things work, and I tell my guys in my room, like, don't follow me on the swing trades. Like, if you agree, great, then go ahead and do your own thing, and with it. But I understand that there's going to be a cost of tuition, just like I'm swinging SPY puts right now, and they're down right now. But I'm okay with it because I'm paying for it with my actual strategy that I know works 100%, and while I'm refining my swing strategy, so I'm fine with it. So one thing that, like, I'll show is my mistake that I learned back when Tesla was running up. So they had earnings on this day, and like I said, I bought at 500, and so I took profit when it came up to this level, and then I went and I bought again, and so I bought 537s. So I bought it was like 550 or something like that, and then I bought 700 calls, and that was my profit target. So my profit target was 700, and it got there on earnings. It got there perfect. Like, on earnings, it got there, and once it got there, though, because it was so far out the money and it took so much time for it to actually get there, I made like $3,000. It wasn't even freaking worth, like, my time because of what I put into it. Whereas if I would have did my research a little bit better and bought a strike that was closer to being in the money, so that when the price got to 700, it was deeper in the money, it would have been way better to do it like that. Like 650 calls would have been better. And part of it was, and I'm not making excuses, just the premium was so expensive. But I mean, I understand now not to take the trade if the premium is too expensive, because it's not gonna work out if it's too far out. So, you guys have questions or tickers you want to go over? That was pretty much what I want to talk about for today, and we're at an hour, so. I want to say hi to my son. I wonder if my son's watching. He thinks it's so cool that I have a YouTube channel, and it's funny because, like, kids really, like, their heroes now are on YouTube. Like, they look up to Jake Paul, Logan Paul, or whoever else. You know what I mean? Ryan, that kid Ryan that opens up the toys. So if you think about it, like, they don't know that anyone can get a YouTube. They think it's like people that are cool that have YouTubes, and so my son thinks it's really cool that I have a YouTube. And so if you
got subscribers,
well, I'm getting there, dude. I'm getting there. I'm super blown away and super humbled. I thank all you guys that come and watch and get value out of what I have to say.
Man, you dropped a lot of gems just now, like that that algo flow or the
Flow algo.
yeah, the flow algo, like that's some edge right there within itself. Like there's a lot of people that'll post that on Twitter, you know, a lot of OGs, and but they won't share what it is. They just talk about it, and if you know, you know, and you know, like, and this is all essentially free stuff that you're putting out, and you know, people don't realize like it's out there. You gotta know where to look and humble yourself, ask questions, and not be an asshole because um, it's out there, man. You just gotta look.
Yeah. So and I think it's being open minded too.
Yeah.
Once you get closed minded, and you're like, this is the only thing I'm trading, and this is the only way. You really lose out on different possibilities. Like yesterday, I don't know for you guys that got to watch the webinar yesterday that Traders for a Cause put on, but it was just mind blowing that there's so many different ways that people make money and the way that they process the information covering the market. They're looking at the same exact chart that I'm looking at, but they're
Mm-hmm.
actually processing it so much differently than what I am and seeing something different. And that just, if that don't blow your mind, dude, like, and if you can't implement some of that stuff, like that one guy Autumn, oh my god, dude, like they were not kidding that you need a dictionary to listen to him speak, like, um dude, like, and there were some women, that Fibonacci chick that was on there. I don't know her name. I no disrespect, ma'am. Don't listen. No one goes snitch on me. But the Fibonacci lady, listening to the time Fibonacci things that she does. So I knew about time Fibonacci's, and you could get that on Thinkorswim. It's nothing secret. But the way that she does it is in her own time frames, where she actually just multiplies to the Fibonacci sequence. And I'm like, well, why didn't I think of that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, if you have 14 days or whatever aggregate period that you want to use, you just use your Fibonacci amount and then multiply, and then you could find, what you're actually looking for. And I was like, so simple, like, you know what I mean? And that's something that I'll look for in the future. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm always here, guys. If you guys want to shoot me a DM on Twitter, my name is New Age Wall Street, just ST at the end on that one. New Age Wall Street everywhere else. Flow Algo is absolutely awesome. It's like $37 for a 2-week trial, and then $150 a month. I give it for free to members in my room, so I just pay for it, and then my members get access to it. So if you guys want to join up, so it's almost like you get a membership, you get Flow Algo for free, because I charge $99 or $179 for a year right now. I'm working on a new website. When the new website comes out, the price will definitely change. I need to update some stuff, but I'm only one person, and so, and I've been taking breaks, like I've been telling you guys that I've been taking breaks, and if you haven't noticed, like on the YouTube, if you guys have been following me a long time on YouTube, I was putting out 4 videos a week, like, you know what I mean? I thought I had to put
Yeah.
out a video like every day.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was Logan Paul for a second, and it's a lot to fucking shoot a video, edit it, and then put it up, and wait for it to upload. Like, it takes a lot for my computer to do it, and so I'm not gonna do that no more, guys. If anything, I'll do 1 video a week, and then I'll do the lives on Friday. If you guys want to come trade live with us, it's absolutely free here on YouTube on Friday if you guys want to come, and then we do the StockCast every week as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Unless you guys have any questions, any technical analysis you want to go over for the week, or any particular tickers as well. I always feel bad, kind of like in my room, and I've gotten feedback, where people want watch lists like in the morning and stuff, but I don't really trade like that. I'm more of a reactionary trader according to price action and volume, and so I need to see what's happening at that time and how the reaction to the price and levels is happening in order for me to make a decision. And then once I get like other things that give me full on confirmation, like Flow Algo and whatever else, then it gives me better confidence in the trade. But that's why I think every time I've tried to predict a move, I lose. So every time I try to anticipate a move, I lose. So, I mean, I tell you the stuff on the spot because that'll be my plan if it gets to that level. And then if the price action reacts accordingly, then I'll definitely take that trade. But if not, then no. But Cool, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'm really grateful, Oscar, bro, that you're free. I know you're busy. There's a lot of college girls that are lonely and quarantined there. And so I appreciate you taking the time, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm glad I was free to do it. I normally have tutoring for my physics. I have an electronics physics class that's the same time as your StockCast, and they canceled it for Easter. So I was like, heck yeah, I get to jump on Cruise's thing outside. I normally watch these after the fact, but
cool.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah, cool. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Make sure you save money by us, guys. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all the new love, guys. Like I said, I'm super humbled. I'm just a homeless felon. I mean, if you've been following my thing, and I'm glad you could get value of what I say. But you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and happy Easter, all right?
You too, man. That's a wrap.
Yo. Yeah.
What's up, bro?
Thank you for doing that, bro. That was a nice surprise. That was really cool, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, no problem. I was happy to do it. I didn't want to act like I was freaking J Trader or James Friedlander or anything. I was like, I was letting everybody know for sure. It's like I just